expect more people to come. So if you can please shift ahead, that will be very helpful. We assure you that all of us are vegetarians. So you can. Also, two requests. One is, if any one of you hasn't been able to mark your attendance outside, we'll be grateful if you can do it after the session. And we are happy to let you know that we'll be distributing certificates as well for this course at the end of the course. Not on Friday itself, but some other opportune moment. Another request we have is, we'll also send you a feedback form after every session. So it will be wonderful if you can give us your feedback. Okay, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Especially behind? Okay. Is everybody comfortable? Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Pancha Kalpatrubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I would like to thank each one of you for taking out your valuable time on this very auspicious Christmas Eve. Also, I would like to thank especially Temple President of ISKCON Boston, His Grace Vanmali Pandit Prabhu, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And also I'm grateful to Shiva Chandra Prabhu and team of devotees for organizing this 5-day Gita in Nutshell course. Many times, especially in modern times, when they see sadhu like me wearing this saffron dress and going around to give some talks on Gita, they ask, why do we need this knowledge when now science and technology is making so much of advancement? So generally I tell one story. One time there was one new airlines. They were just launching their first flight, and they had done great amount of advertisement, and knowing it is going to be first flight, historic flight, many light people had also booked their tickets. And there was a wonderful reception on the day of the launching of the flight, and people were in very jolly mood. They boarded the flight, and after a couple of hours, the co-pilot made an announcement that, my dear ladies and gentlemen, I have two news for you. One is good news and one is bad news. Which news would you like to hear first?
Bad news.
Oh. People said every day when we get up in the morning, we read newspaper and mostly it is bad news. At least we have paid so much money today. Let's have a great time. Please tell something good. Let's begin with the good news. So co-pilot said, the great news is that we are traveling at greatest height. Never in the history mankind has able to travel in aeroplane at such great height. It's a record, historic record. And some of them started cheering, jai, clapping. And then he said, not only that, we are traveling at greatest height, we are also traveling at greatest speed. Never in the history of mankind has man been able to travel in aeroplane at such great speed. This is also record. Imagine you are in that flight, flying at the greatest height and flying with greatest speed. How will you feel?
Free.
Huh?
Free.
Feel free, yes. What else? Raise hand, somebody who would like to say.
Scary.
Feel scary. Yes, there you go. Yes, anybody else? How will you feel?
Lucky.
Lucky. Okay, yes. What about you? How will you feel?
Terrified.
Terrified. Okay. Yes, anybody else?
On cloud 9.
Huh?
On cloud 9.
On cloud 9. Oh, yes, anybody?
Concern.
Huh?
Concern.
Concern. Yes. Yes.
Anxious about the bad news.
Anxious about the bad news. Huh? Yes. I would like to hear from two more. Anybody else?
Accomplished.
Huh? Accomplished. Feel accomplished. Okay. Yes.
Privileged.
Privileged. Honored. Maybe my name will come in the history for having traveled in that historic flight. Maybe someone may also feel excited. So as someone said, I'm feeling anxious. So one person said, my dear sir, it's wonderful news, but first let me know what is that unfortunate news, bad news. The co-pilot said, unfortunate news is that we are traveling at such great height and we are traveling at such great speed. Unfortunately, we have lost the contact with the ground station. And now we don't know where we are going. So if you are in that flight, how will you feel? Honored? Privileged? Excited? Absolutely free. So actually, this is the situation of modern times. Yes, definitely, we have climbed great ladder of success, and we have done a lot of scientific and technological advancement. But unfortunately, we are losing the contact with the ground station. We are losing contact with our real self. We are losing contact with our Mother Nature. We are losing contact with God. And we are also gradually losing contact with each other. Isn't it? So, knowledge of Bhagavad Gita helps us to connect with real self, connect with Mother Nature, connect with God, and especially connect with each other in a very harmonious and loving way. We see in Vedic terms there are two terminologies. One terminology is called as Vidya, other terminology is called as Avidya. Vidya means knowledge. Avidya means ignorance. So there are three very famous Vedic aphorisms. Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. What does that mean? Don't remain in darkness, come to light. Many schools, universities, colleges have this logo, Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. Don't remain in tamas, darkness. Jyotirgamaya, Jyoti means light, come to light. That means don't remain in ignorance, come to knowledge. Because ignorance is the root cause of suffering. And if you want to be happy, one has to get knowledge. Without knowledge, it's not possible to be happy in ignorance. So, we see, according to Vedic analysis. The schools, college, universities we study in, that technically characterized as institutes of avidya. One may wonder, how can you say it's institutes of avidya? The school, college, university, we go and we get knowledge that is technically not called as knowledge. That is technically called as avidya, ignorance. Why? In Vedic text, everything is judged by characteristics, not just by labels. For example, we have salt, white salt in the container. And if you put the label sugar, just by putting a label sugar, is it going to become sugar? Imagine I take that white substance from that container and put it in milk or tea. How will it taste? How will it taste? Salty. One may say it's written sugar. How it is salty? Why? Because label is sugar, but inside is salt. Similarly, sometimes we see, especially a few years back, just a couple of years back, when people were having this COVID, everywhere, whenever they had to travel, they used to, ask whether your health is okay or not, do you have any, and people were tested for symptoms. Sometimes person may say, I am healthy. They may also have certificate, I am COVID negative. But imagine if they test and they see he is coughing, he has cold, he is sneezing, he is having fever, he is having body pain. Can we say that he is alright? He may say he is alright. He may say he is healthy. His certificate may also say he is healthy. But his symptoms are not showing that he is healthy, isn't it? So symptoms or characteristics are more important than what person says or what labels say. Similarly, we may also say that yes, I am educated. I am BTech, MTech, PhD. I am from MIT, Harvard. I am from the best institutes of the world. But just by having labels and just by having some titles and degrees doesn't mean one is educated. It has to be tested by characteristics. So Vedic life tests everything by characteristics. So tamsoma jyotirgamay. Tamas means darkness. Darkness has characteristics. There is a request that devote students and all audience can shift little closer so that more can be can sit behind. So tamsoma jyotirgamay. Don't remain in darkness, come to light. So darkness has some characteristics, light has characteristics. Imagine you are all alone in middle of night, in deep dark forest. That too, on a new moon night, Amavasya night. It's pitch dark. And the forest is filled with wild, dangerous creatures as well. And some dangerous sounds are also coming, cricket or different. How will you feel in that situation, all alone, in middle of night, deep dark forest, on no moon night? How will you feel? Scared. So first characteristic of darkness is that it induces fear. Also in darkness, we can't see things as they are. Imagine wind blows and the branch of tree moves and it makes sound. One may think, oh, there is a snake. And one may become even more fearful. So darkness creates illusions because one is not able to see things as they are. Also, in darkness, one cannot see the path ahead. One doesn't know how to move ahead. Shall I go straight, take left, take right, take U-turn? How do I move ahead? Because everything is pitch dark. However, we see as soon as sun rises and there's light everywhere, what happens? Immediately fear reduces, isn't it? So characteristic of darkness is that it induces fear. Characteristic of light is that it reduces fear. Hmm. And as when there is light everywhere, we can see things as they are. We can see, oh, this moving object is not snake, it's just a branch of tree. And then we can say, oh, there is a dead snake lying there. And we can say, oh, here is a live snake. So one can see things and discriminate based on proper vision in light. So in darkness induces illusion, whereas light removes illusion and we can see things as they are. Also, in darkness, person doesn't know how to move ahead. But as soon as light comes, immediately we can see the path. Oh, path is here, I have to walk left, and then there is straight path, and then there is right turn, and there is U-turn, and one can know the path ahead, can move gradually on the path. So we see that in darkness, there is confusion and one gets lost. As soon as light comes, that confusion is gone. One can see the path and move ahead. So there are different characteristics of darkness and there are different characteristics of light. Now in our modern education system, if we try to analyze life of student, how people go to kindergartens, then first grade, second grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, maybe then graduation, BTech or MTech, PhD or whatever, PSc, MSc, all further things. Now, first grade student, he has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety, or 10th grade student, who has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety. How many of you think that 10th grade student has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety? Raise hands. Okay. Now, 10th grade student, he has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety, or 12th grade student, he has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety. 12th grade student. And then after 12th, suppose somebody goes into very world-class institutes like IITs or MIT or Harvard and all this world. Do they have more fear, stress, tension, anxiety, or those who go in ordinary colleges and universities? Who has more fear, stress, tension, anxiety? I have been going last almost more than from 2000, almost 25 years to IIT Kharagpur. And I have been also going to many universities across. My experience is that in ordinary college and university, I don't find that much mental problems and especially suicide and other issues, drug abuse and other things. But in professional colleges, in world-class universities, practically every semester there is some suicide or some serious issues. Like I was there just 2 months back giving a talk in IIT Kharagpur, and after talk, some students came and told me that that morning itself there was one suicide in the college campus. And this is a regular story. So, from statistic we can see that actually fear, stress, tension, anxiety in world-class universities is much more than ordinary universities. So what does that mean? Darkness is increasing or light is increasing? Darkness is increasing. We may rubber stamp it as light, we may rubber stamp it as education, we can rubber stamp it as knowledge, but just by rubber stamping, it doesn't make knowledge. When we don't know what is knowledge, we can be happy calling ignorance to be knowledge. But when we know knowledge, then we will not misunderstand ignorance to be knowledge. So therefore, especially the Vedic, those who know Vedic teachings and those who have gone through Vedic teachings, they understand the technical knowledge and so-called education which we are getting in school, college, universities, and for which we are spending billions of dollars. From knowledge point of view, it is actually a vidya, ignorance, because it just increases stress, tension, anxiety, fear. Also, ignorance, we see, my experience, before going to college, generally students are of some okay character. They may not have first class character, but at least they have some kind of sense, sanity, and some kind of culture and some kind of character. But after going to college, my experience is that many students get into bad habit, drugs, and they get into smoking, drinking, and all these things. So, so instead of developing good qualities, they develop bad qualities. So darkness is increasing or light is increasing. So Vedic text says knowledge means to know about matter, to know about antimatter, spirit, soul, Atma, and to know about Supreme Spirit, soul, Paramatma or Bhagwan, God. When we know all these three things, matter, spirit, and Supreme Spirit, completely, and their interrelation, that is called as Vidya. But if you know only matter, that also incomplete, that also imperfect, that is called as avidya, ignorance. Half knowledge is very dangerous thing. If you don't know about spirit and Supreme Spirit, and if you just know matter, that also incomplete and imperfect, that is very dangerous. So in our school, college, university, what we study is just matter. That also not complete matter. We study incomplete matter. Matter means earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, falsehood. Earth means all kinds of solids, water means all kinds of liquid, fire means all kinds of energy, earth, water, fire, air, all kinds of gases, and ether, space. And there is mind, intelligence, falsehood. Generally in our school, college, universities, we generally talk about matter only, gross matter, earth, water, fire, air, maybe little bit ether. But there is hardly any talk about mind, intelligence, falsehood. This earth, water, fire, air, ether is gross matter. Mind, intelligence, false ego is subtle matter. But both is matter. But in our school, college, university, we are not taught entire matter. We are taught only gross matter. Because they cannot study mind, intelligence, false ego. Earlier they were thinking psychology is study of mind. But after that they realized that mind is so difficult and so subtle to understand. So they changed the definition of psychology. Instead of saying study of mind, they say study of human behavior. Maybe human behavior is understandable and we can study. Mind is too difficult to study. So we are being taught only incomplete matter. And that also, what we study keeps on changing. Sometimes one may say, oh, light is a corpuscle. Then after a few years we may know, no, light is not a corpuscle, light is a wave. And after a few years we may say, no, sometimes light behaves like corpuscle, sometimes light behaves, and one is confused. What is reality? One is not sure. So whatever we see, theories we learn in our school, college, university, they keep on changing. Is that knowledge? Knowledge means which never changes. So when you study Vedic texts like Bhagavad Gita, you can know matter, both gross and subtle. You can know antimatter, you can know spirit, and you can know Supreme Spirit, and also their interrelationship. And as soon as one understands this knowledge, the result of not understanding this knowledge is that immediately person becomes from, immediately in his life we'll see his fear, stress, tension, anxieties will reduce. Anybody, I can tell from my own experience, because I also had technical education before, and I could see there was so much stress, tension, anxiety. But as soon as I was introduced to this knowledge, immediately I could see in my life this fear, stress, tension, anxieties, all this reducing. And anybody can have his personal experience. It's not a question of just the blind following, but one can practically experiment and see the result of getting this knowledge. So first result of this getting knowledge is that immediately this we'll see that fear, stress, tension, anxieties, inferiority complex, depression, all these problems will reduce. Second is all illusions in life will be gone. Sometimes we have many misunderstandings in life. We think, oh, if I can gratify my senses, I'll be happy. If I can earn big money, I'll be happy. If I can get big position in society, I'll be happy. But this is just an illusion. This is not a reality. Rather, more you try to gratify senses. Bhagavad explains, Ei sansarja bhoga dukha ena evate adantavanta kaunte na teshurumate buddha. One becomes more miserable. And therefore, intelligent person doesn't try to engross himself in just gratifying his senses. So, when we start studying, illusions will, start getting dispelled, and one will understand realities and secrets of actually really becoming peaceful in life, happy in life. And especially, as soon as one starts understanding, one will get clarity of life. One will understand what is the goal of life. One will understand how to move ahead in life. His confusions will be gone. So, we are having 5 days, just 5 hours, every day 1 hour each. We'll try to briefly see few secrets explained in Bhagavad Gita in this 5 days. So today, I will, if you want to remember today's talk, you can just remember one word. 5 secrets for a meaningful happy life. You can just remember one word, that is light. L-I-G-H-T. Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. Don't remain in ignorance, come to knowledge. Don't remain dark, come to light. So today I am going to talk about 5 things. L. Vedic text talks about L means life's purpose. It talks about identity. Who are we? If we want to be happy, we need to know who are we. Next, it talks about God, science of God. It talks about our real home, and it talks about transmigration, science of transmigration. So we have another 20-25 minutes. I'll try to briefly cover these 5 things, and then if anybody has any questions, we'll take in the end. Life's purpose. In Mahabharata it said, Ahara nidra bhai maithunam cha samanyam etat pashubhi naranam dharmo hitesham visheshvadiko dharme nahina pashubhi samam. So ahara nidra bhai maithun. These are 4 activities common between humans and animals. So if somebody is just doing these 4 activities, ahara nidra bhai maithun, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So Vedic texts call him Dvipada Pashu, 2-legged animal. He is not considered as human being. Human life begins Athoto Brahma Jigyasa. When one inquires, who am I? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? Why am I suffering in this world? I don't want to become old. I am forced to become old. I don't want to die. I am forced to die. How I can conquer death? When one starts thinking on this subject matter, that is considered beginning of human life. If one is only thinking of how to eat nicely, mate nicely, sleep nicely, defend nicely, he is considered just animal. Maybe sophisticated animal at best. So we see in our modern life, we have done a lot of scientific and technological advancement. But mostly, what is this science and technology used for? Basically, it is used only for refining these 4 things: eating, mating, sleeping, defending, and nothing more. Sometimes we see vulture flies very high up in the sky. But just because it is flying high up in the sky doesn't mean it has become very elevated and great. Because even if it fly high up in sky, it's just looking down for dead corpse. Similarly, we may fly up high up in the sky with science and technology, but what are we looking for? We are looking for eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Even if you go to moon, what are you going to do? Same things. So that doesn't make one human being. That just classifies us as sophisticated animals, maybe two-legged animals. Human life begins when one understands about spiritual subject matter. This is the difference between humans and animals. Animals cannot understand about spiritual subject matter. Animals cannot understand antimatter, spiritual subject matter. Animals cannot understand spirit and supreme spirit, God. Animals can do very well this eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So if we are only doing that things which even animals are doing, then we are actually maybe underutilizing the human potential. So what is your name, sir?
Bruno.
Bruno. Bruno. Imagine Bruno develops very nice friendship with me and he becomes very happy with me. And he says, Acharya Ratna, I would like to gift you Mercedes Benz, $100,000. And I say, thank you, Bruno. And I take this Mercedes Benz $100,000 and go to my village and put a plow and start plowing the fields with Mercedes Benz. Bruno, how will you feel?
Disappointed.
Huh?
Disappointed.
He's saying I feel very disappointed. Why?
Not the right purpose.
Yeah, because it's not the right utilization of Mercedes Benz. Imagine I try to use Mercedes Benz for plowing the field. First is that I may not be able to plow field properly. Second, Mercedes Benz may get spoiled. And since I am not able to plow, I will be disappointed. And Bruno will be super disappointed because his valuable gift is being misused. So Bruno may think, oh, what this Acharya Ratna wants? He wants to plow? Better give him tractor. Maybe let me give $10,000 worth tractor and take back this $100,000 worth Mercedes Benz. If I get tractor, then what happens? I can plow field nicely. I'll be happy. And Bruno will be happy, his $90,000 are saved also. Isn't it? Similarly, when God sees He has given us valuable human form life, what are we doing with this human form life? If He says that we are only doing this eating, mating, sleeping, defending, He thinks, oh, that even animals and beasts and birds can do. Better take this valuable human form life. You want to do eating, mating, sleeping, defending, better take this animal life. Eating, human body, you can't eat a lot. If you want to really eat, take elephant body, you can eat a lot. Or you want to eat non-veg, you can't digest so much with this human body, you will have so many diseases. Better take this lion's body, tiger's body, you can do it well. So, human form of life is not meant for this eating, mating, sleeping. That we can't do very well in this. Animals can do much better. But speciality of human form life is that we can understand spiritual subject matters. We can understand Athoto Brahma Jigyasa. We can understand who am I? What is our real identity? Only human beings can understand. Animals cannot understand. Generally, you see, if you ask a person, who are you? What does he answer? He may say, oh, who are you? Oh, he may say, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm Hindu, I'm Christian, I'm engineer, I'm doctor, I'm man, I'm woman, I'm young, I'm old, I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm educated, I'm uneducated. But is that our identification? Identity is that thing which never changes. As far as these things are concerned, if I say I'm Indian, but I can change this. I may be Indian today, tomorrow I may be African. Somebody may say, oh, I am rich today, tomorrow I can be poor. Somebody may be a man today, tomorrow he can be woman. And all these things are superficial. They are not our real identity. So if you want to be happy in life, first thing we need to know, who am I? If you don't know who am I, there's no question of being happy. Imagine I'm hungry. What is the name? Harsh. Harsh. But if I think I'm Harsh and I'm hungry and I start feeding dinner to Harsh, will my hunger be gone? And I feed sumptuously to Harsh and I said, "Arey, my hunger is not gone." I said, "This place is useless. Maybe they're just cheating. Let me go to another restaurant." I go to another restaurant and then again I feed Harsh. Will my hunger be satisfied? No. One may think, who in this world will do such a foolish mistake? Will anybody do such a foolish mistake? But actually, everybody in this world is doing such a foolish mistake. And that is what Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Everyone wants to be happy, but what do? They try to gratify their body and senses, which we are not. So this is the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. We see in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, the great warrior, is standing on battlefield. And when he sees his guru, martial teacher, Acharya, and his grandfather, Bhishma, on the other side to fight, he gets confused and then he starts giving many reasons why he doesn't want to fight. And after giving so many reasons, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is speaking, Krishna is just hearing. Then second chapter, in the beginning, we see Arjuna, he goes into great stress and anxiety. He hears a body stand on end, tears starts coming in eyes, his voice gets choked up, he gets completely depressed. And then he sets aside his Gandiva bow and he says, Parpanya dosho upvatsabhavo puchami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yashayashan nishitam bruhitan me shishyastyaham shadimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna tells, "Oh my dear Krishna, I am completely confused. I am completely bewildered. I don't know what is the right thing to do. So now I surrender to you. I become your disciple. You please become my guru. And please, Ishitam Bruhi Tanme, please tell me for certain what is the right course of action right now for me to do." So when Arjuna surrenders to Krishna and asks guidance, so Krishna begins speaking. Pratnya Vadam Chibasase. Oh Arjun, you are speaking as if you are very learned. You are talking and giving so many reasons why you don't want to fight. But first know, you are a fool number one. And all your talks are just meaningless. Arjuna was shocked. Arjuna is not ordinary person, very celebrated person. And Krishna is calling him as fool. And Krishna tells why he is calling him as a fool. Krishna says, you are a fool number one. Why? Because you are thinking of yourself what you are not. You are thinking yourself to be body which you are not. You are thinking Acharya, your martial teacher, to be body which he is not. You are thinking grandfather Bhishma to be body which is not. First fundamental step of knowledge is to understand I am not this body. I am soul, Atma, separate from body. So Krishna explains, Dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namuyate. Krishna said, this body is always changing. We are not the body. We see, according to medical science, every 7 years all the cells of body change. That means 7 years before we had different body. 14 years before we had another body. So body is always changing. But still we are the same person. So body is changing, but we are not changing. So who are we? Krishna explains, we are not the body, we are spiritual being. Body is matter. We are not material. We are antimatter. We are spiritual. We see with common sense. When I say, this is my mobile, that means mobile is different, I am different. Mobile belongs to me. I am not mobile. Isn't it? I don't say I mobile. I say my mobile. That means I am not mobile. Similarly, I say my hand. I don't say I hand. My hand means hand is different. I am different. Hand belongs to me. I am not hand. Isn't it? Similarly, we say my head. I don't say I head. I say my head. My head means head is different. I am different. Head belongs to me. I am not head. Similarly, we say my body. We don't say I body. We say my body. What does that mean? Body is different. I am different. Body belongs to me. I am not body. So if I am not body, who am I?
Good question.
If I am not body, who am I?
Who am I?
I am spiritual being, Atma, soul, who is anti-material. So this is the first secret Krishna is revealing in Bhagavad Gita. Secret about our identity. Unless we know our spiritual identity, there is no question of any peace or happiness in life. If you think I am this body and spend whole life gratifying body, which we are not, this body is just like a vehicle. Yes, imagine vehicle is there. Yes, we have to take care of vehicle, but we are separate from the vehicle. Vehicle is different, driver is different. We go to the petrol pump, gas station, put few gallons of gas in car. We don't say put 1 gallon in driver also, no? Because food for car is different, food for driver is different. Similarly, body is a vehicle. So for body, pizza, pasta, roti, sabji, chapati, dal, rice, that is food for body. But what is food for soul? We are very nicely taking care of our body, which is the car, but we are not taking care of ourselves, who's the driver, the spiritual being. So if we don't take care of ourselves, we just take care of our body, which is a vehicle. Or Krishna gives another analogy. Krishna says this body can be also compared like a dress. If we just take care of our dress, how can we be happy? If we want to be happy, we have to take care of ourselves, the real self, Atma. So this is the fundamental mistake in modern education system. Modern education system doesn't teach us who are we. Imagine in a complicated mathematical problem, first step is wrong, and later on you do all other steps very perfectly all right. Answer, what will be answer? Will it be right or wrong? Because first step is wrong, conclusion, answer will be wrong. So Krishna explains the first step of knowledge is to understand I am not this body, I am spiritual being Atma. If this first step is wrong, whatever you do based on further, nothing is going to be right. So therefore, because in modern education system, we assume I am this body, and we assume others are body, and everything is based on body. Therefore, there is no question of any peace or happiness in modern life. And it just leads to stress, tension, anxiety, and misery. So, this is the most important secret Krishna is revealing. So, as long as soul is there in the body, body is alive. As soon as soul leaves the body, we call person as dead. So, we see when person passes away, when person dies, what do we say? We say he has passed away, she has passed away, isn't it? So if he or she is body is still there. So who has passed away? And if we analyze chemically, a moment before death and moment after death, chemically it's same. There's no chemical missing. So, who has passed away? Who has passed away? Soul has passed away. Death means soul leaves the body. Body is matter. Matter has no consciousness. Body is dead. soul, life means soul. As long as soul is there in body, we consider a person alive. As soon as soul leaves the body, he is declared dead. So, first secret which is revealed in Vedic text is L, life's purpose. Life's purpose is not eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Life purpose is not sense gratification. Life purpose is self-realization, understanding self. I means identity. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita the fundamental mistake of modern people is we are misidentifying ourselves. We are thinking ourselves to be body. And because of body identification, there are so many problems. Somebody is thinking I am Indian, somebody is thinking I am American, big problem. Somebody is thinking I am Hindu, somebody is thinking I am Muslim or Christian, big problem. Somebody is thinking I am man, somebody is thinking I am woman, then big problem. Somebody is thinking on bodily platform, there is no question of any equality. But all of us want equality. That is possible when we understand our real identity as spiritual being, Atma. Or spiritual being, we are all equal. There is no different Atma in Indian body or American body or Hindu body or Christian body. Or there is no different Atma between human being and dog or a cat or a rat or amoeba or mosquito. From spiritual point of view, amoeba is also our brother, and mosquito and elephant and dog and everyone, because all are spiritual beings, Atma. So bodies are different, they are just different dresses, but spiritually we are all same Atma, Sat, Chit and Anand. Sat means Atma is Atma is Sat, eternal. Atma has no birth, no death. Chit, Atma is originally full of knowledge, but now it's covered with ignorance. Because of bodily concept of life. And Anand, Atma is full of happiness, but because of being put in this incompatible situation of materialistic realm, he is put it in some misery. Okay? So L, life's purpose, I, identity, G, God. Bhagavad Gita talks about science of God in great detail. Krishna explains, Matta paratram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protram sutre manigana iva. O Arjun, conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on thread. This is necklace. How many of you are able to see a thread underneath the necklace? How many of you know and believe there is a thread underneath this necklace? Yes. So Krishna is saying the first stage to understand God, to see God, is not with eyes, but with eyes of wisdom. Like when we see the pearl necklace, we may not be able to see the thread, but with eyes of knowledge we can understand there has to be thread which is binding all pearls together. If there is no thread, all pearls will be scattered. Similarly, Krishna explains that in this world, if you want to see God, you have to see God first with eyes of knowledge. You can see from microscopic level to macroscopic level. There is order and design. Even single cell of a body is much more complex than entire New York City. And it functions very systematically. New York City with all its communication system, transport system, energy system, all how complex it is. So one single cell is also much more complex than that, and it's working very systematically. Can you imagine New York City working without any superior administration and intelligence? It is working because there is superior administration and intelligence. Similarly, from microscopic level to macroscopic level, there is order and design. Why? Because it is working under Maya Dekshena Prakriti. Krishna says it is working under me. I am in charge of, from every atom to galaxies. Everything is working under my direction. It's not happening by chance, automatically. One time, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON, when he was giving talk on Bhagavad Gita, one young student challenged him. He said, Swamiji, you are talking on Bhagavad Gita, science of God, but recently Dr. J. Menon, he got Nobel Prize for his chance theory. He says everything has come by chance. So if everything has come by chance, where is the question of your God? And Swamiji looked at him he said, oh, everything has come by chance? If everything has come by chance, then chance theory has also come by chance. And if chance theory has come by chance, why give him a Nobel Prize? What he wants to say is that everything has come by chance, except chance theory. My chance theory requires great intelligence, give me Nobel Prize. But the fact is that nothing comes by chance. Even chance theory doesn't come by chance. Even for chance theory, there's a person behind it. Similarly, sometimes people with poor fund of knowledge, they may say the world has come by some bang, big bang, small bang, water bang, But with little common sense, we can see if there is some bang anywhere, a person comes and asks two things: how much destruction happened, how many people got killed, and who was the person behind that bang. Immediately, security system, detectives, police, everybody will try to find out who was the person behind that bang. So if we don't hear there was some bang and beautiful 100-story, one of the most historic, iconic building has come up, or some beautiful garden and some amazing things have come up. Do you hear like that? Bang means destruction. Nothing wonderful happens by that. And even for bang, there is person required. It also doesn't happen automatically. So even if you say it is bang, so we can ask, who is the person behind this bang? Krishna explains, I am that person. Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhava samatta. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that I am God. The whole world is working under my direction. Everything is emanating from me. Jesus says, I am Son of God. He doesn't say God, he is God. But Krishna says, I am God. Not only he says, I am God, he shows universal form to Arjuna. And when Krishna was playing a role of a small baby, even as a baby, when his mother, Yashoda, asked him to open mouth, he showed the entire universe in his mouth, including mother. And she was amazed. That's God. So everything comes from God and rests on God. So Bhagavad Gita talks about science of God, and then the Srimad Bhagavatam, other text talks even more elaborately about it. So this is the third secret revealed in Bhagavad Gita, that this world is not just working automatically, but there is God behind it. Next, fourth thing, L-I-G-H. H means home. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, this world which we live in is not our home, but a prison house. Krishna explains, this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkhalay, like alay. Alay means abode. Pustakalay. Pustakalay means library, where you get books. Bhojanalay. Bhojanalay means where you get food. Bhojan, restaurant, hotel. Aushadalay. Aushadalay means medicine shop, where you get medicine. Himalay. Himalay means where you get him, barf, ice. Devalay, where you get God, abode of God, Devalay. So Dukkhalay. Dukkhalay means where you get misery. If you go to Pustakalay and say, please give me Aushad, what will person say? He'll say, my dear sir, this is Pustakalay. You want Aushad, go to Aushadalay. Here there is no Aushad. Here there is no medicine. Here there is books. Similarly, if you go to Bhojanalay and say, give me book, they'll say, this is Bhojanalay. Here you can get food. You want book, you go to Pustakalay, not here. Similarly, if somebody comes here and says, please give me Sukh, Anand, happiness, Krishna says, no. In this world, this is abode of misery, dukh. My dear sir, you can't get happiness, sir. If you want happiness, there is another world. That is called Anandalaya. There is Dukkhalaya, abode of misery. And there is Anandalaya, abode of happiness. The material world we live in, Krishna explains, is a prison house. Just like in every city, there is a prison house. Those who are disobedient to laws of government are put in prison for reformation. And when they reform, they can go home and then they can be happy. In prison they cannot be happy because in prison by design there is suffering. And similarly in material world, Krishna explains by design there is suffering. So no matter how much we attempt to become happier is not possible. If you want to be happy, then he says we have to go back home, to our original home, that is spiritual world. So Krishna explains and describes about spiritual world. Krishna explains, na tat bhasityo suryo na shashanka na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Na tat bhasityo suryo. In spiritual world, Krishna says there is no sun there. Does that mean it's dark place? No. It's everybody is self-illumined there. So there is no need of sun. There is no moon there. There is no electricity there. Because everybody is self-illumined there. And this is the same description we see Jesus also gives about the kingdom of God. So, material world is a dark place. So we need sun, moon, electricity. It's a cold place. But in spiritual world, it is a place of light. In material world, it's a miserable place. But our home, spiritual world, is a place of mirth and merry. So those who are disobedient to the laws of God, they are put in the material world, which is like prison house for reformation. And when they reform, then they can again go back home. And then in spiritual world, there is no misery there. It is explained, in spiritual world, people don't walk there. What do they do then? They dance. In spiritual world, people don't talk there. So what do? They sing. So when do people dance and sing? When they're happy. So our original home is home of happiness, where everybody sings and dances and is joyful. But this place is a very miserable place. Material world is a prison house. Okay? And our situation is just like this, fish out of water. We are spiritual beings, Sachidananda, but we are trapped in the material world, the world of matter, which is prison house. Now imagine, fish is out of water. Can he be happy with any amount of facilities? No matter how much money we give, no matter what facilities, can he be happy? No. If fish has to be happy, fish has to be put in water bag. Similarly, we are spiritual beings in material atmosphere, by material accomplishment, in material circumstances. There's no question of us getting peace and happiness. If you want peace and happiness, we have to put ourselves in spiritual environment and spiritual situation, and finally in the spiritual realm, spiritual world, and then one can naturally be happy. L, life's purpose. I, identity. G, God. H, home. And last is T, transmigration. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, birth is not beginning of life and death is not end of life. There's life before birth and there's life after death. Because soul is eternal. There is no beginning for soul and there is no end for soul. At the time of birth, what happens is we get material body, and at time of death we leave material body. So body is actually, material. It has beginning and end. But soul has no beginning and end. So at the time of death, soul leaves one body and takes up another body. So So, you see, body is always changing, but soul remains unchanging. So, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, this body is just like a dress. Everybody can repeat after me. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So it's not that at time of death, life is finished. No, at time of death, we just give up material body and we take up new body. So, what is your name, sir? Yes, Ashish. Yes, Ashish. Suppose your dress gets torn and you go to market to buy a new dress. So which dress you will get from market will depend on two parameters. Which are the two parameters?
It should fit me.
It should fit you. What else?
And I like it.
You like it. Your choice. Whatever you choose, can you get that dress? What else parameter is required?
Well, I think that depends on how much I can afford.
Yeah, effort. Yes, cost. So there are two parameters. When we go in market, which dress will get depend on two things: our choice and how much money we have. Based on that, based on our choice and money, we get the next dress. Similarly, based on our choice, based on our desires, and based on our karma, we get the next body. So, soul is always changing bodies. So, if you have material desires and we do material activities, we will get material body. If we cultivate spiritual desires and we do spiritual activities, we get spiritual body and we can be transported to spiritual realm, which is a place of mirth and merry, which is place of happiness. In Ishopanishad it is said, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. It is explained that God is Purna, complete and perfect. And we are part of God. Mamayvamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are spiritual beings, part and parcel of supreme spiritual being, God. God is complete and perfect. And we are part of God. Like hand is part of body. Now imagine hand gets rasgulla and hand says, I am going to enjoy myself. Can hand enjoy rasgulla alone? If hand has to enjoy it, what hand has to do? He has to feed mouth. Then it goes to stomach, it gets digest, and then hand will get strength. But hand says, I will enjoy myself, hand is not going to enjoy. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam says that secret of happiness is that we are part of God, so we have to serve God. If we serve God, we can be happy. Just like also it is explained, God is root of all existence. If you water the root, whole tree gets nourished. If you feed the stomach, whole body gets nourished. Similarly, if you serve God, then everybody can be happy. So we get happiness by serving God because we are part and parcel of God. We cannot be happy separate from God. And if we connect to God, serve God, then success and victory in life is assured. Bhagavad Gita ends with this shloka. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Everybody can repeat. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. Tatra Shir Vijo Bhutir. Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. So wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, external power, and morality. That is my opinion. So wherever there is God and wherever there is devotee of Lord, there is opulence, victory, happiness, and all success. And one of the best ways to connect to God is to chant His holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So we briefly discussed secret of happiness is vidya, knowledge, and the root cause of suffering is avidya, ignorance. And today we discuss knowledge complete with light, and we discuss 5 secrets from Bhagavad Gita. Light. L means life's purpose. Life purpose is not to gratify just body and just do eating, mating, sleeping, defending, but to realize self-realization. Human purpose of life is not sense gratification, but self-realization. Self-realization means to understand who am I. I, identity. What is our identity? We are not material bodies, but we are spiritual beings, Atma. Part and parcel of supreme being, Paramatma or God. G. G means God. This world is not working automatically on its own. And this is working under direction of God. It's created by God, maintained by God, destroyed by God. Lig. H. Home. This material world we live in is not a happy place. And this is a prison house. There's another place which is our real home. That is called a spiritual world. Vaikunta. Kunta means anxiety. Vaikunta means where there's no anxiety, misery. T means transmigration. Soul never dies. But soul keeps on taking newer and newer bodies. That is called as transmigration. So birth is not beginning of life, death is not end of life. There's life before birth, there's life after death. And we get a next body depending on our choices and our karma. If we have material desires, material choices, and do material activities, then we'll get material bodies. But if we cultivate spiritual desires and do spiritual activities, especially chanting of the Holy Name, then we can get spiritual body, and then we can transport ourselves to spiritual realm, which is place of happiness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So now there will be darshan. Meanwhile, if somebody has 1 or 2 questions, we will take, and then we'll be having wonderful kirtans. Anybody has any comment, questions? How many of you understood what I said? At least something you understood. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, anybody has any question? Yes.
So once you have this realization,
Yes,
who am I? I am a spiritual body.
I am a spiritual being,
A spiritual being.
part and parcel of God, eternal servant of God.
What tools do I have so I can now see myself differently from this body and this person that I'm holding here?
So when I realize self that I am spiritual being, part and parcel of supreme spiritual being God, and I have loving relationship with God. God loves me profusely, and I should love God. And in loving God, there is unlimited happiness. And I see every being also part of God. So I serve every being as part of God with love and compassion. I don't exploit anyone. And serving others, when we serve others with love and compassion, God is very pleased. And when we please God, we become very happy. So when we realize this, then we'll be able to be humble servants of God and all living entities, and spread love and happiness everywhere. Okay? Thank you. And in ignorance, we become instrument of misery and spread misery everywhere. Jai.